Hello all, welcome to ASN Globe channel. This is Suryan. This is part 12 classes and constructors. So in this video we will discuss what is class and constructor and what are the types of constructors available as well as destructors. What is class? A class is a special type of data type. It consists of data and behavior and it contains methods and data members as well as. So let's take a small example and discuss about class and constructors. Switch into Visual Studio. So here, when you create any console application, the .NET framework, it will create program class. So at any program, it should have at least one class. So let's say a small example. I'm going to declare one class public. To declare a class, we have to use class keyword. Method, sorry, employee. So under employee class, we can define data members, methods. Now I'm going to define variables, string name, string age. So here what I am going to write, I will write one method. Let's take an first name and last name. Last name. I'm going to return method string full name. So here I will expect if name and L name. So here what it's happening, I've written one class and two data members and one method. So this method will take a input parameters and it will return a full name. So what I will do, return f name plus L name. Okay. So when you want to consume this class method in the main method, so we have to create object for this class. So how to create an object? Using new keyword. Using new keyword, it will create an object. So here what I'm going to dot full name. So here expecting two parameters. So what I will do, comma, so it will return non-string format. So I'm going to store one variable full name. So I'm going to print full name equal to. So when I go and execute this program, so it is printing full name. Sorry, Suryan only it's printing. So here we need to give L name. So then if I go and execute, so Suryan, it is printing as a full name. So this kind of output, this kind of method mechanism we already seen in the earlier videos. So now what we are going to use using constructors, how we are going to achieve. So what I will do, so constructor will create with the same name as a class name. So CTOR is a shortcut of creating a constructor. When you type CTOR plus tap twice, then it will create a constructor. So here the constructor having access modifier and there is no return type, and class name and constructor name must be same. If you are not defining any constructor, the .NET framework will define automatically default constructor. So what it will do, that constructor will initialize the values in the variables. So now what I am doing here, constructor. So in this constructor I am going to print one message. So this is default constructor. So when I go and execute, when it will execute this, so whenever you create an object for this employee class, then the constructor automatically it will get executed. So let's see. So if you see, this is a default constructor and output of full name. So here this is the default constructor. So here one more thing we can do, we are using data members here. So string variable I have and string last name. So what I will do, I am going to define one more constructor with the same name, CTOR, enter. Here what I will do, I am expecting string variable name string name. So in this, here what I will do, I am going to assign the values to this data members. So whatever when you are creating a object for a employee class, it will expecting two parameters. So here I am not passing any two parameters. Now let's go and create one more employee object, employee one. When you moment plus this, here you can see two types of constructor available. So one is a default one, there is no parameters. After that with the parameters. So now I will here parameter 1 comma parameter 2. So now what I will do, here I am going to print a message. This is parameterized constructor. So and as well as I will go and print the values of. So to print that values, I'm going to use one more method, the same, but I won't expect these parameters from the output. Now what I will do, I will write method as display name and I will use this data members. So this dot keyword, this dot last name. So this keyword, it will actually the current class object it will refer. So whatever you define inside the class, you can use this keyword and we can reuse it. So now I'm going to print this method here, employee one dot display name. So now let's go and execute this program. So here this is the default constructor as a full name, and this is a parameterized constructor, but it is not printing display name. Okay, so display name, okay, we are returning the value, but we are not printing anything here. So what we'll do, we will make it as a void type, and no need to print here, we'll print directly here the full name is. So when I go and execute this program, here I can see the default constructor and full name is a Syrian, and this is a parameterized constructor. The full name is param1 and param2, because while creating a parameter constructor we are passing param1, param2. So here the employee object we have display name. So in this display name we are calling this. So what behind the app, and here when you create an object for a employee class with parameters, it will invoke this, and it is whatever you are passing a values, and it will set it to class members, and the class member we are using in the methods. So before that we created employee class here, right? So suppose if you are not define any class this, so directly I am printing as a parameter constructor, what will going to happen? So let's comment that and we'll go and execute. So this is a parameter constructor, this is a full name. So when you create an object for parameter constructor, this will get executed. So when you moment create object for a class, then it will execute the default constructor and parameterized constructors. So here we say in the default constructor and parameter constructor. So let's look into small one example of copy constructor. So what I'm going to write here, one more constructor I'm going to add here, city over. So here I'm going to employee. So here what is happening, the constructor is declared with the same employee again. So now what I will do, so here I'm going to print this is copy constructor. So how to invoke this? Whenever create a object for this class, then it will get executed, but the parameters is or different. So what I will do here, I'm going to create one more object, and the object we are passing as an the parameters. So this is a 1 and this is a 2. Get confused. I'll make it last. So let's go and execute program. Now we can see the default constructor, parameter constructor, and the full name as well as the copy of constructor also it is printed. So what has happened behind? So here when you create a default constructor, it got executed this, and when you create a parameter constructor, it executed this parameter constructor. This one, and print create object for copy constructor, and it is expecting employee object, so this will get executed. So this is a copy constructor. So we have few more static constructor as well as private constructor. So the private constructor within the class only we will access, because due to that access modifiers. So we will discuss access modifiers in the later sessions. So let's declare one private constructor. I will declare inside the class program itself. CTO or tab. Here I will make it private CW. This is private constructor. So I'm going to create object for this. Sorry, we'll create object first for employee class, then we'll see later. That is so private. Okay, when you movement write a private constructor, it is showing ambiguity of default constructor. So let's comment this. So when you comment this and you make it a private, you got an error here. So it is clearly telling the employee of inaccessible due to its production level, because the employee constructor it is in private. Okay, so we can't access outside the class whatever the members defined in the inside the class. So what I will do here, only I will, for the program class itself, I will define constructor. Program class constructor. When you create an object for this program class, so this will get executed. Let's say an example. If you see the program class private constructor and other constructor data. So because the private constructor within the class only we can reuse that. Outside the class we can't. So this is the private constructor. And static constructor, so we will define as a static constructor. We have to define with static keyword. So for the static constructor, it is not allowing access modifier. So when you go and execute this program, so it got printed. This is a static constructor and default constructor, parameterized constructor, and copy constructor. So like this, we can use all the constructors in the depending on requirement of your application. So let's go to slides. So class we can define with a syntax as access modifier, class, and class name. So class will define with the class keyword. Constructor is a special method present inside the class. This will initialize the default values of the variables. It doesn't have any return type. It will automatically executed when we create an object for a class, and class name and constructor name must be same, just we seen, right? So employee name is class name is employee and constructor name also it is an employee. So so constructor have access modifiers. So we have one more, destructors. Destructors, when you the .NET framework automatically it's defined destructor. So destructor will use for to destroy or clean up your unwanted objects. So how we are going to declare what is the syntax? So we will use till symbol and class name. So destructor will define for your clean up a code. So here whatever this destructor no need to write explicitly. The .NET framework itself we have garbage collector. So the garbage collector will take care about destructor and clean up your code. So like this we can use destructors. Let's go to slides. Yeah, that's it for today. So I hope you like this video. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.